Hello, and welcome. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the incredible story of Steve Jobs' journey to India in 1974. This was a trip that profoundly changed him, not just as a person but also as a visionary leader. Jobs was only 19 years old when he embarked on a 7-month journey across India to find purpose and meaning in his life. Little did he know, the lessons he would bring back would later shape Apple into one of the world's most valuable companies, pioneering a new kind of simplicity in technology. So let's explore this fascinating story. How one young man's search for enlightenment would turn into a philosophy that built a $1 trillion empire. A young Steve Jobs, lost and searching. Steve Jobs was at a pivotal point in his life in the early 1970s. He had dropped out of Reed College in Oregon after just one semester, feeling lost, disconnected, and uninspired by traditional academia. But he was drawn to questions bigger than himself. Why are we here? What is life all about? Around this time, India had become a popular destination for those searching for spiritual insight and alternative answers to life's questions. Jobs had heard about India's rich traditions of meditation, self-discovery, and simplicity from a friend and spiritual teacher, Robert Friedland, who encouraged him to visit India to find the answers he was seeking. This idea of seeking enlightenment from Eastern philosophies and practices intrigued him. So, at just 19 years old, Jobs and his close friend Dan Kotke bought one-way tickets to India. Arriving in Delhi, Jobs quickly realized that life in India was unlike anything he had ever known. He faced a harsh reality: heat, poverty, and a culture shock that was both challenging and enlightening. He was forced to adapt, living off local food, sleeping in abandoned buildings, and spending days in quiet meditation. He wandered from village to village, experiencing a side of life that was raw, simple, and very different from the fast-paced, consumer-driven world of the United States. It wasn't an easy journey by any means. Jobs had to confront his own discomforts, his ego, and his expectations. But it was in this state of openness and humility that he began to see the world differently. A life-changing revelation: the discovery of prajna. During his time in India, Jobs became particularly inspired by the Buddhist concept of prajna, or transcendent wisdom. This teaching emphasizes the importance of intuition, trusting one's inner self, and connecting with an innate understanding that goes beyond logic or intellect. In the Western world, decisions are often made based on facts, data, and analysis. But Jobs saw a different way. He realized that intuition, or that gut feeling, could be a powerful guiding force. This became one of his core principles. Jobs once explained, "The people in the Indian countryside don't use their intellect like we do. They use their intuition, and intuition is more powerful than intellect." This new insight would profoundly influence his future. Jobs returned to the US determined to live by prajna, to trust his gut, follow his instincts, and embrace decisions that aligned with his inner compass rather than solely relying on data or market trends. This approach was revolutionary. Later, when Jobs would make bold decisions at Apple, launching products that seemed counterintuitive to the market or taking a unique design path that other companies wouldn't consider, it was this trust in prajna guiding him. For Jobs, intuition was more than just a feeling. It was a way of living and making decisions that would set Apple apart from any other tech company. The joy of simplicity: a life of less, a life of more. Another crucial realization Jobs experienced in India was the beauty of simplicity. Living among villagers in remote areas, he was struck by their ability to find joy without material wealth, without clutter, and without the distractions that came with a consumerist lifestyle. This was a community that didn't need the latest gadgets or the trendiest belongings. They found happiness in the essentials of life. Jobs came to believe in a principle that he would carry with him for the rest of his life and career: simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. This notion of simplicity would become central to Apple's identity. Apple's minimalist design. Jobs applied this philosophy to every product Apple created. Every feature, every design choice, every interface had to be stripped down to its most essential form. If it didn't serve a clear purpose, it was cut. Apple's product line. Jobs understood that consumers didn't want an overwhelming number of choices. When he returned to Apple in 1997, he famously reduced Apple's product line from 12 different computers to just 4 main products. This was shocking at the time, but it allowed Apple to focus on refining each product rather than stretching resources thin. Jobs once said, "Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple." In Apple's design, we see this reflected in products like the iPod, iPhone, and iPad, Each device showcases a clean, elegant design, free from unnecessary features or complexity. The transformation of Apple in 1997. The power of focus. When Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, the company was on the brink of bankruptcy. He applied everything he learned from his journey in India to turn things around, focusing on simplicity, intuition, and a clear purpose. Apple's product line was cluttered with dozens of products, confusing consumers and draining resources. Jobs cut 70% of Apple's product line, reduced the workforce, and refocused the company on just 4 products. Jobs also cultivated a more intuitive approach to product design. He placed a high value on experience and intuition over data-driven decisions. Apple wasn't just making computers, it was creating experiences. Jobs once reflected, "This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life." By narrowing the company's focus, Jobs allowed Apple's engineers and designers to pour all their energy and creativity into a few iconic products, which transformed Apple from a struggling computer company into a brand that would eventually be known for innovation, quality, and consumer-friendly design. Technology that serves humanity, not the other way around. Jobs also believed that technology should simplify lives, not complicate them. He applied the Indian philosophy of simplicity to Apple's mission, ensuring that each product wasn't just innovative, but also easy to use and intuitively designed. Apple's product naming. This idea of simplicity even extended to product naming. Rather than using complicated naming conventions, Jobs kept it simple: Mac for computers, and the iconic i- for consumer devices. This not only made Apple products memorable but also easy to understand and recognize. Apple ads. Jobs was also famously selective about marketing, favoring clarity and impact over clutter. He believed in trusting a small, brilliant team to create ads that resonated deeply. Apple's Think Different campaign became legendary, encouraging people to see technology as a force for self-expression and human potential. Jobs insisted that the customer experience should come first and that technology should adapt to people, not the other way around. This focus on human-centered design became Apple's trademark. The legacy of Steve Jobs' Indian philosophy. Why it still matters. Steve Jobs' journey to India taught him invaluable lessons that would guide him throughout his life. He learned to trust his intuition, to value simplicity, and to create with purpose. These principles would later transform Apple into a company known not just for its products, but for a philosophy that connected deeply with its users. Jobs' story serves as a reminder that success often comes from within. The experiences he had in India shaped not just his business philosophy, but his outlook on life and creativity. Today, as we look at Apple's enduring legacy, we can trace much of its success back to Jobs' insights from his journey. A journey that led him to understand the value of intuition, the power of simplicity, and the importance of staying true to one's purpose. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the mind and philosophy of Steve Jobs. His story shows us that sometimes, the most powerful insights come from the simplest of experiences. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from history that continue to shape our world today. Stay tuned, and keep exploring what matters most. Until next time.